It was worse than any vision of hell. The Rimmersmen, startled awake by Simon's terrified cry, were beset from all sides by hopping, flailing bodies. The things were boiling up from the ground like rats. Indeed, as they scrambled through the camp, the night was filled with thin, mewling squeals that rang of tunnels and blindness and cowardly malice. One of the Northerners was on his feet, the creatures swarming over him. There were none of them as tall as Binavik, but their numbers were prodigious, and even as the Northerner unsheathed his sword, they pulled him down. Simon thought he saw the flash of sharp things in their hands, rising and falling. The men were up now, and in the intermittent flashes, Simon could see the pale fire of their swords and axes. Kicking away the blanket, he climbed to his feet, searching desperately for a weapon. The things were everywhere, prancing on their thin legs like insects, calling out, shrieking thinly when the axe of a Rimmersman bit. Their cries almost sounded like a language, and that, in the midst of nightmare, was one of the most horrible things of all. Simon ducked behind the rock that had sheltered him, circling around as he looked frantically for something to protect himself with. A figure hurtled toward him, tumbling to the ground only a pace away, one of the Northerners, half of his face a wet ruin. Simon bolted forward to pull the axe from his convulsive grasp. Not yet dead, the man gurgled as Simon dragged the weapon free. A moment later, Simon felt a bony clutch at his knee and whirled to see a hideous little man-like face behind the grasping claw, eyes staring whitely. He swung the axe down at the face as hard as he could and felt a crunch like a beetle ground underfoot. The stiff fingers fell away and Simon leaped free, gagging. With the light from the sky alternately blooming and dying, it was nearly impossible to tell what was happening. The swaying figures of the Rimmersmen stood all around, but there was a far greater number of hopping, piping demons. It seemed that the best place to... Simon was knocked to the ground without warning, a gripping paw around his neck. He felt the side of his face go down into the mud, tasted it, then heaved up against the thing on his back. A crude blade whickered past his eyes and stuck in the earth. Simon clambered to his knees, but another hand reached around his face, covering his eyes. It stank of mud and foul water, the fingers squirming like night crawlers.
Where is the axe? I've dropped the axe.
He clambered shakily to his feet, legs wide on the slippery ground, and tried to pry loose the clamping fingers around his windpipe. He stumbled forward, nearly falling again, unable to dislodge the awful, strangling thing from his back. The bony hand was cutting off his air, the sharp knees digging at his ribs. He thought he heard the ropey thing squealing in triumph. He managed a few more steps before he dropped to his knees. His ears roared. Strength flowed out of his arms and body like meal from a torn sack.
I'm dying.
It was all he could think. Before his eyes there was nothing but dull red light.